always wanted to be a realtor, and this was like maybe like in 2014. And I had mentioned it to my ex-husband, and he was like, "No, I don't think you will be good at that." So I was like, okay, so I basically let somebody else dictate to me on what they felt like I would be good or not good at. Time went on. I didn't pursue it, left him. Then I started talking about it more in 2017.
Okay.
I had met this other guy, and he was like, I think you would be good at that. So I was like, okay, then, he said, I think you should try it. You got the personality, you like the talk, all of this. Okay, I'm a realtor now. How this gonna work? So boom, I wind up getting my first deal 2 months after I got my license. But I lost the deal because I was not able to be there for my client the way it wanted to, because I was
go to work.
I was having to go to work. I couldn't be on my phones. So that's how I lost that deal. So I was kind of upset about it. It hurt me, and it made me start questioning, am I supposed to be doing this? So I was tired, and I just wasn't happy. And you prophesied to me. So you told me, you was like, I see by the end of this year, you gonna be you're not gonna be working full time no more.
Hold on, no. Matter of fact, let me tell you what I said.
Go ahead.
Hey, you're back listening to The Throne. I'm your host, Matasha LaQuinn, the queen bee of real estate. And today I got a special treat because I'm not here by myself. I have one of the best people on the planet, one of my dear friends, also a real estate agent with the LaQuinn Group, Miss Lanaya Wills. Woo!
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? I am Lanaya.
Listen, I thought that it would be a very great idea to have Lanaya here today because Lanaya has done a really great job at being authentic. And if you're thinking about getting into the real estate industry, learning to be authentic is going to be very important. Especially with social media and all that kind of stuff, we get so caught up looking at what other people are doing, and instead of staying in our own lane. They post like this and they don't really tell jokes. Maybe I need to be proper. My language isn't, politically correct, so to speak. And so all those things stop you from being authentic. And to tell you the truth, people come to you for representation because they like you and they like who you are, right? So Lanaya has a really inspiring and unique story as to how she even got into the industry and what that journey has been like for her. And right now, she popping. Popping like popcorn, right? And so you're going to be inspired today. I know that you may just want to change industries in general. You may not necessarily even be thinking about getting into real estate. You just may be in the medical field, and you've always wanted to be a teacher, and you're thinking about making that jump, and it scares you to death. So we're going to talk about industry changes in general, the faith that you need to make them happen, and how, as long as you are true to yourself, believing in yourself, trusting in God, all the pieces going to fall where they need to fall. Yeah, they going to fall. So let's get started. Enough of me babbling. Let's hear from Miss Lanaya. We're gonna reverse this thing back to 2019.
Okay.
That is when Lanaya and I first met. And long story short, she was introduced to me at the time. I was a real estate broker, and she was introduced to our firm as a newly licensed agent.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you're a licensed agent, you have to have a sponsoring broker that's going to hold your license. And so she joined our team back in 2019. And it was at one of our first training sessions. After that first training session, we had a personal conversation in the parking lot about just her overall desire to do well in the industry. And I'll let you tell it from there. Let's talk about, you were working a job at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us that journey and what that conversation was about.
So, hey y'all. So first of all, I always wanted to be a realtor. I'm gonna take it back a little further. I always wanted to be a realtor, and this was like maybe like in 2014, and I was married, and I had mentioned it to my ex-husband, and he was like, "No, I don't think you will be good at that."
The nerve,
The audacity.
baby.
So I was like, okay, so I basically let somebody else dictate to me on what they felt like I would be good or not good at.
Mhm.
So anyway, needless to say, time went on. I didn't pursue it, left him. Then I started talking about it more in 2017.
Okay.
I had met this other guy and he was like, I think you would be good at that. So I was like, okay, then, he said, I think you should try it. You got the personality, you like to talk, all of this. So then I was like, well, in 2018, I'm going to set a goal and I'm going to start real estate school at the top of the year after I get my taxes because I ain't had no money. Right?
Come on,
Right.
hold on. Our last episode, we just talked about taking your income tax money and doing something productive with it. So you took your income tax money,
right,
and put yourself to real estate school.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So I started real estate school in February of 2018, and I finished in I think it was like April with schooling, and then you got to go through the testing. Well, I failed that test like 3 times because that test ain't no punk. But finally, I got licensed, and I was ecstatic. But at this time, I'm still working, so I worked in the corporate industry, oil and gas. Right,
Okay.
I was an accounting specialist, and I was always pretty good with finance and money and things like that. But I was managing other people' money,
Right.
So that was boring to me. And I got tired of kind of putting on this facade and pretending to be something that I'm really not. You know
Mhm.
how you got to be in corporate.
Yep.
So anyway, I was like, okay, I'm a realtor now. How this gonna work? So boom, I wind up getting my first deal.
Come on, deal.
I wound up getting my first deal maybe like 2 months after I got my license, but I lost the deal because I was not able to be there for my client the way it
'Cause you
wanted
were
to. Because
having to go to work.
I was having to go to work. I couldn't be on my phones. I couldn't do none of that stuff.
Makes
So
sense.
yeah. So and when you're an agent, people want to have access to you. They
Right.
want to be able to talk, ask you questions. They don't always just want text.
Right.
So that's how I lost that deal. So I was kind of upset about it. It hurt me and it made me start questioning, am I supposed to be doing this?
Mhm.
So when I met you, we had our first meeting and we did have that conversation in the parking lot. And I was just talking to you about how I want to come out of this. I don't want to work no more. I was tired, and I just wasn't happy.
Mhm.
And you prophesized to me. Come on, prophetess.
Wait. Let's add that to my title.
There
So,
we go.
Real estate broker and prophetess, Matasha
There we
LaQuinn
go.
in the building.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So you told me, you was like, I see by the end of this year, you're not gonna be working full time no more.
Hold on. No. Matter of fact, let me tell you what I said.
Go ahead.
I
You
think
did?
it was because this was like June or July.
It was
2019.
June of
'Cause
2019.
first of all, it was hot outside.
Yes.
I don't know why we were in the parking lot
Yeah.
talking, dripping sweat, but that's another story. And I said, you were like, I don't want to do this. I don't
Yeah.
want to do corporate. I want to do real estate full time, but I'm scared.
Yep, I was
And
scared.
I said, well, you're going to get over that part, but you are not going to go into a new year working.
That was your exact
job.
words. Yep.
And so you had 6 months to go because we were in June. And I was like, you're not going to be going into the next year working a job.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, so when she told me that, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it at all, y'all. It was like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. At this time, y'all, I'm putting y'all in my business. At this time, I'm making like $42 an hour working at Baker Hughes. But I was broke.
Mhm.
Credit wasn't right. My money wasn't right. And I couldn't understand how I'm making this money, but I'm not making it,
Right.
So fast forward, I've always worked like contract jobs working out here. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I prayed to God about it. I'm like, I'm gonna put in a notice.
Mm.
I'm gonna put in a notice.
So you got bold.
I got bold because I
wonder
was
where
fed
that came
up.
from.
I was
Thank
fed
you.
up. I was
See?
tired.
But nobody else can speak that into you and have you do that until your own light bulb goes off and you are tired.
Yes.
Okay,
I was tired.
on.
I was fed up. You know, I was just like, I didn't spend all this money taking these tests and I'm not doing nothing with this license.
Right.
Like, you know, so I decided to put in my I prayed to God about it first.
And what he tell you?
He was like, I think you can do it. You should do
That's
it.
the words he said.
Not to that degree, but he was like, you know, do it basically.
Right.
So I went to work. It was
Hold on. Press pause. When you say, because there may be.
Am I literally pressing pause?
No, girl.
Oh.
I can't get right.
I'm
not
like...
literally press pause. But press pause on the story.
Okay.
Because there's somebody out there, I'm sure, that is asking God for confirmation. They want to make a move. They prayed about it, and they don't know what that voice sounds like. And because I know for me, sometimes, you know, I used to think back in the day, like, I'm waiting on this loud, audible voice that comes from the clouds. It's like, Tasha, turn left.
Right.
And that doesn't happen that way sometimes. It can come in the form of just an overall peace about the situation.
Yep.
Maybe the fear that paralyzed you before just disappears one day and you become bold the next day. And so...
And he used other people.
Use other people to say certain things or put certain messages in front of you. And like, wait a minute, I just asked specifically for, you know, for certain things to be brought to my attention. So for you, when you say that God told you that it was time, so to speak, what was that for you?
It was more so like a voice. Like it's
like an inner voice?
Like an inner voice, like you trust me. That's what he said. You trust me, right? He didn't put right at the end, but he was just like, you trust me and you have faith. And it was almost like giving me like a vision, like he gave me a glimpse
of what
it could be.
Baby.
Like that. Yeah.
And
girl.
that was enough for you to
And that was enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so I was stressed out. Remember, I got sick.
I remember.
And all
you
of that
had
stuff.
a panic attack.
A panic attack.
Sure
yes, because I'm trying to manage work. I want real estate to really work as well. And something had to go.
Right.
You know, so anywho, so I put in a 2-week notice right before the Christmas holidays. I remember doing that. So the manager came back to me, and I think she got with the temp agency and told them, hey, Lanaya, you're going to put in a notice. So the agency called me, and she was like, Lanaya, can you wait? Now, keep in mind, I only had like maybe about $7,000 in my bank account, which ain't no money, right? So it ain't enough to be leaving no job. You know what I'm saying? Right. So the lady from the agency wound up calling me, and she was like, hey, Lanaya, such and such told me you put your notice in, but I want to know, can you stay to the end of the year, to December 31st? So I said, yeah, I can. Because, boom, in my mind, I'm like, if I stay, they're going to pay me unemployment. So that's money I'm going to still have coming in.
Yep.
So I stood, then boom, 2020 come around.
You stood.
I stood at the job till the end of the year.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I stood because I was going to leave prior to.
So you stayed there.
I stayed there.
Okay.
I stayed there till the end of 2019, and which was like December 28 or something. And then 2020 came around, all of this stuff. So I also have a tax company. So I knew tax season was coming around, so I'm going to make some money from that.
Got it. So you kind of had in your mind, all right, if I play this right, my strategy is going to be, while I work to get my real estate pipeline going, I'm going to work my taxes.
I'm going to work my taxes. Okay. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Boom. COVID come. So we all sitting down.
Yeah.
But taxes still rolling in.
Yep.
And then, boom, they come with the PPP.
Come ABC.
Yeah. Boom, they come with the SBA loans and grants. So all of this, my money is is on the up. Then
Resources.
it's resources. Boom. Then they start with I was already getting unemployment, like 5 something a week, which was like
But
2.
that's when they added that
But
extra.
that's when they add that 600
Ba-
extra a week. So I'm getting like $5,000 a month in unemployment. So my mind is blown. So that's how I started building up my income, my finances.
And it
you
probably
know.
gave you the confidence to say
Yes.
my decision was the right
It was the
decision.
right
I
thing.
left and I'm still
And
able
I'm-
to sustain myself.
And then God, he
Come on,
still,
Lord.
he covered me because he set it up where them people asked me to stay to the end of the year so I could get that unemployment.
But listen, how about going back to the prophecy?
Yes.
You ain't going into this new year with a job.
With
It
a
took
job.
you right
It
to the
took me
very
right
end.
to the very end, just like you said.
That's crazy.
Just like you said. And I remember calling you and I'm telling you, like, T.
You were surprised and I wasn't.
Yes.
I was like,
I was in the money was coming so fast. It was like I couldn't believe it because I couldn't even do this at the job.
right.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't save. I didn't even understand the processes. You know?
So something that seemed to be your stability was actually a glass ceiling to a certain extent because you can only go
so far
and do so much.
Yep.
And once the limits were off, you were able to, okay, let's go.
So then I wind up getting my first deal, technically again in 2019. It was a homegirl of mine, and you walked me through the process with all of that. I was nervous, didn't know how to write a contract.
Right.
Let me tell y'all, in real estate, you do not know how to do a lot of stuff until you do it.
Exactly. And that's why I was saying, like, listen, we don't need all these trainings on all these different things because what's the use of training on this if you're not ready to pull it out your pocket and use it?
Exactly.
We're going to wait until you get something in your hand that you're working on and dealing with, and we're going to train on that specific situation,
right? So I didn't have confidence to talk to sales counselors. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to negotiate a deal, structure a deal. I didn't understand resales versus new construction. Like, it was just a whole learning process for me. But then gradually, as you continue to get, do more deals, and then you get people to, trust you,
right?
Then your confidence level changes.
Because when you're competent, you feel that you're competent. You know what to say. Because the thing about it is when you're uncomfortable or you're not sure of yourself, you don't go after the business because you're scared that what if this client puts me on the spot and asks me something and I don't know how to respond.
Exactly.
And I don't sound intelligent or like I know what I'm doing. So that stops you from going after new business.
That is absolutely correct. And I'm going to say this as well. Like, when you first come into real estate, you're going to be looking at so many different agents. Right. And you're going to try to compare yourself to them, or you may even try to mimic what they do. And that's what I used to try to do. I used to try to tone down my New Orleans accent because I'm trying to talk politically correct. And, our words be kind of, what you say? Right, say that again. So I didn't want people to judge me off of that. That's why I had took an etiquette class when I was in real estate school, but I don't even need it because I realized people like me because of I'm just being myself.
You're being real, so to speak. Like, they don't have to wonder who the real you is, and to them you're relatable, and they probably, you remind me of my cousin. You're like my sister, so to speak. And so that comfortable level that you give people also helps with that.
Yeah, definitely. So I wound up getting through doing my first deal with that. And then after that, it was just up from there. And
if it's up, then it's up.
And it's up, then it's stuck.
Okay,
we crazy. But basically, I love real estate. I love helping people. I love just being able. It's not even about the money for me. It's just genuinely, I enjoy what I do. I love it.
So let me ask you this. Okay. If you had to do it all over again and make that very difficult decision to switch industries or quit the job or whatever that whole process for you, would you do it all over again?
In a heartbeat.
Why?
Because I can't even describe it. I just feel like I feel like a woman.
Oh,
I feel like a woman because I have a career now versus a job.
Hold on. I'm sorry to keep stopping you, but listen, you dropping these chicken nuggets. Okay, the nuggets is coming.
Yeah,
the chicken nuggets with barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
So back to you have a career. That's the thing that I want to put out there too, especially the young people that may be watching, that maybe you're getting ready to graduate high school and you feel that college is not for you, but oh man, if I don't go to college, well, I need to make something of myself.
Yeah.
Or if I don't go get a degree, am I going to be able to create the lifestyle for myself that I want? That can be done with, well, I don't know. I don't want to be encouraging y'all not to go to college and
right.
So I'm not doing that. But what I am saying is trades. So whether it's welding, real estate, insurance, loan officers, there's so many different career fields, you know what I mean, that you can get into, that you can provide a nice career and setup for yourself, and it doesn't necessarily require a degree. So maybe you've tried college and it's not for you, or maybe you feel like you've failed because, man, I'm 2 years out of high school and I still haven't done anything with myself and I'm not sure what to do. Look into some different trades. Look into real estate as a profession because it is considered a career.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So back to this feeling like a woman.
Oh, yes, baby.
Listen. Okay. So, and I would imagine that gives you just a natural confidence boost.
Yes, it gave me a natural confidence boost. I don't know. It just feels good also when you have people come and ask you about advice, or financial advice, even with credit and all of that stuff, because y'all know I'm in the 800 club and I brag about that a lot. So it took a lot for that. It just feels good. I feel like I'm finally a woman.
Like you've arrived.
Like I have arrived,
Like all the pieces that were straggling here and there, they're finally attaching themselves to each other and it's all coming together.
Yep, it's all coming. And I also feel like God puts a lot of our blessings up on the shelf until we could really fully trust him and have faith, and also get rid of the people that's not supposed to come along these journeys with us. Because I couldn't do it before.
Especially with the main person that's closest to you telling you that you can't do this.
You can't do it. You ain't going, I don't think you're going to be good at that. So, but I just love my career. I love what I do. It allows me to, meet different people. Yeah. Also, it you learn new things.
Yeah, every day.
Every single day.
No file is the same. You think, let's see, I've been in it for quite some time and it's still some stuff that make me scratch my head. I'm like, where did this come from?
Yes.
A new program, new issues, just every single day. And so for somebody that tends to get bored, you won't get bored in real estate. Especially because you're working with different clients, different personalities. There's always something new happening. So
always something new. And you have to also be willing to put yourself out there. You have to. You just can't.
Like what?
I would say you have to, like, far as marketing, you have to. It's not the type of business where, people just gonna come to you. Houston has over 30,000+ realtors.
Right.
So you have to figure out what makes you stands out, what makes you unique. Why should I use you to be my realtor when I got Becky up the street? Or whatever. So you have to figure out what works for you. And I figured being my authentic self. I don't like being in front of the camera, like talking about it.
Well, you in front of one now.
I know.
You in front of two, actually.
But, that's where you have to become comfortable, with yourself, confident, talking to people, things like that.
When did you realize that being your authentic self is what worked for you?
I think about 2 years ago in
Okay.
2021. And I don't know. It was just like a light bulb that clicked.
Okay. Is it something that maybe a client said? Like,
No,
no?
never. It was just I wasn't getting the feedback that I wanted to get as an agent. I felt like my clientele wasn't up there like where it needed to be, or something. And I just was like, I need to figure out
What's wrong?
what's wrong and what I need to do different.
And you just start being
And I
yourself.
just started being myself. I started engaging more, getting on camera more,
Getting out of your comfort
getting
zone.
out of my comfort zone. So I think the first step I did was start going out hanging outdoor hangers, and I would call it field day, where I'm out in the field and I'm just showing myself.
I remember that.
Yes, putting out stuff.
And you would send videos. Look, T.
Yeah,
I'm in the field.
I'm in the field today. Yes, so and that made it fun. It didn't make it feel like you was just. It didn't feel like a job,
Right.
and it was easy for me. And then after that, I just started like just doing like little videos here and there. I'ma record every little thing I do. Let my clients know that if they're okay with that, and they usually are. And then it's just been up from there.
So let's reverse just a little bit too. So,
Okay.
because I want to also touch or talk to the people that may not be necessarily looking for an industry change into real estate. So let's talk just generally.
Okay.
How important, which I know the answer to this, but and I'm sure you do too, but so I'm gonna ask, but how important is it to when you make the change, whether it's real estate, whether it's I want to be a school teacher now, I'm gonna go work for a school, or I want to be a police officer. So I'm gonna because there are all type of different precincts, precinct 1, precinct 2, precinct 3. How important is it to match yourself with the right opportunity, right? Because every school, based on who the principal may be and the team members, is not necessarily right? So you still have to make sure that the vibe or the culture that wherever you're headed to is going to match and nurture who you are, right?
Yes. I'm going to speak from a real estate perspective, even though this could go for anything.
Right.
But coming out of real estate school, naturally, you want to attach yourself to a big name brokerage because you think that's the way it's supposed to go. That's where you think you're going to get a lot of exposure and all of this stuff like that. But at the end of the day, these buyers and sellers don't care who you with. It's just about your knowledge.
And it's about you. Your name is on the business card. So you essentially are your own brand.
Your own brand.
Regardless of what logo or the brokerage is on there, you are you. So even if you change brokerages tomorrow, they're going to follow you.
Exactly. And I felt like I went through a few brokerages and it wasn't going to work for me. And when I finally linked up with the LaQuinn group, I was like, this is my zhush right here. This is my vibe. Like, you get to be yourself. You get to be, you get to put in input, and it's not like traditional real estate. And I remember you telling us that when I first came on, you was like, I'm not no traditional broker. We not going to do this, this, and that. We ain't finna have all these meetings. If you got a question, call me.
I feel so bad now.
But no.
I sound terrible.
I like that, though. I like that.
It's like we ain't having all these meetings.
No, because that makes it boring to me.
Yeah, and that goes back to even me being authentically myself.
Right.
Because if I'm not careful, I may conform to what other brokers are doing.
Exactly.
But I have to be myself and say, hey, I don't know what everybody else doing, but this is what I'm doing.
This is what I'm doing.
This is how I like it. And if you're for me. If not, that's fine. But okay, keep going.
Yeah. So I just feel like, the fit has to be there. You have to mesh well. And baby, let me tell you, us over here at the LaQuinn group, we all mesh very well. That's why we don't want nobody else.
You weren't supposed to say that. Don't tell them.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just playing.
Right. But I mean, yeah,
But-
you're right. I mean, because at this point, I consider y'all my family. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Matter of fact, when I got married, I was in my
in
wedding.
the wedding,
Like,
like everything. Like we all up at your house. We go out together. It's family,
yeah.
and it feels good. It feels right.
Right.
That I can have a relationship with you outside of work stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It makes the experience different
Yeah.
for sure. And you can
Makes it easy.
Yeah, makes it easy because, being linked up with the wrong team, or the wrong job, or whatever the case may be, can still be miserable. So you may make the career change and still not be all the way right.
Right.
Because where you are isn't right.
Isn't right.
So the industry change is okay, or the change that you made is right, but you still got to fit that puzzle together to end up at the right place. So
yes, and people will try to manipulate you when you coming into real estate because, of course, you don't know. They'll try to take advantage and things like that. But so you really have to get with someone that fits you well,
right?
And this what works for me, and I ain't going nowhere. I stay telling T that.
Well, I'm here for it. I think so because I know sometimes it's hard to give yourself props, and other people may tell you, you're doing a great job. I'm proud of you. Or I watched you go from this to that and develop the confidence that you need on that. Are you to a place now where you can admit or tell yourself that I'm proud of you? I'm proud of you, self.
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I do it every day. I look in the mirror in a mirror. Yeah.
Good.
Yes, I do it every day, and I make sure I thank God for it first because he's the reason. And I just sometimes I sit back and I reflect, and I'm like, Lord, I can't believe I'm here. Like doing this full time. Money right,
Let
me
pause that because you don't even know what I was saying. You laugh.
No, because I know it's gonna be something crazy.
Not too crazy. When we talked about the other day about having our bills on auto pay,
yes,
and you was like, I got my bills on auto pay. I said, I don't care how grown I get, I'm not putting my bills. I'm not putting my bills on auto pay. But when you was like, okay, I'm grown now. Like, I feel like I'm a woman. Stuff is right. Y'all, she got her bills on auto pay.
I do, y'all. I got my bills on auto pay. I don't never have to worry about that pink letter coming in the mail.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to lie, y'all. I used to pay, and I know probably a lot of y'all did. I used to pay my electric bill when the disconnect notice come. And on the disconnect notice, I'm going to ask for an extension. To give me like a few more days.
We live the same life.
Yeah, but the crazy part is I had the money. Me too. But I just didn't want to do it. I don't know.
Ratchet.
It's a mindset. Wait so ratchet.
Kids, don't try this at home.
At all. Pay your bills.
That's ratchet. I used to do the same thing. Like, listen, I got this little $65.36, but I might need this depending on what I want to do for the weekend.
Yep.
So I need an extension.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Live off them extensions, baby.
Hey, you better work it. Come down strategic. So y'all, if y'all out there doing that, that means that you can get a job title as a strategic consultant. If you know how to manipulate them extensions and the disconnection notice, you are a strategic consultant.
Yep, because I used to do it a lot.
So don't have no shame, no judgment.
At all.
Oh, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, T. Thank you for like the encouragement, the push, being an example, because I really couldn't see it. I was so scared.
That's the thing, though. Like, and I know this is cliche, and people say it all the time, but it's like the life that you're supposed to live, or like what God has for you, is right on the other side of the fear. So it's like if you could just get over the uncertainty and the fear part and hop right over that, that's usually where stuff starts to unravel and pick up for you. But you'll never know if you're paralyzed and stuck in the fear.
Yes.
So, I say this all the time, but I got really, really good. I got really, really good at jumping off the cliff and growing my wings on the way down.
Hmm.
And I ain't hit the ground yet. I say yet. I don't plan on it. But I mean, and that's just what you got to do because life is really short. Time is going by really, really fast.
Yep.
And before you know it, you'll look up and another 3 years has passed by.
That is so true.
And you're still like, oh man. And now you're depressed because you are not even living up to what you want to be and what you see for yourself. And so the fact that 3 more years have passed by and you still stuck in the same spot, you're beating yourself up about it. And so if you don't start to take some type of action and put one foot in front of the other and just move forward. I'm not saying you have to accomplish it today or get to the finish line today, but start walking. You won't have that regret 3 years from now. Like just imagine the type of things that can change or evolve in that time span if you find the courage to just get started.
And you have me with that same type of mindset. Like when you say you just jump with no parachute. And I tell people, I jump off the Superdome with no parachute.
Right.
I always say that.
Because we always talk about like when different things come up, like different, hey, this organization got a loan. This organization has a program for business owners. We'll take the risk.
Yeah.
Okay, send an application. Let's see what they say.
Let's see what they're gonna say. It's either yay or nay. That's it.
Yay or nay. And so if not, you're gonna always just be stuck.
Yep.
You gotta continuously just do this, try this, and get comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
And who cares what the outcome is? Who you gonna look crazy to? The friends or the family, that's doing nothing.
Exactly, but won't talk about you.
But we'll talk about, no, we ain't doing that. Who was I talking to? Oh, that's like the skit we did.
Yes, that skit with the family.
We did a skit where, we're dealing with a home buyer that's been pre-approved for a loan and it's her first time. She's excited, but then she brings along her sister and her cousin to the consultation. And they just you should get this. Why don't you get a 4-bedroom? My house got a pool. I got, and it just interrupts your own desires and your wants and what you had going on. But even more so, that's like somebody trying to give you advice on how to go through your home buyer purchase and they ain't never bought a house. Listen,
Child.
I'm gonna need you to get up out my face.
Go over there.
Yeah, we're not doing that today. So, just get very. And it's always good, I believe, to have that, one person maybe in your corner that you do share stuff with. If it's the right person. Some of you may not have nobody. So guess what? You got to get real good at being stuck with yourself and God. Because maybe you can't share things with anybody. And that's okay. But if you're going to share it with somebody, just make sure it's the right somebody. Because those people should be inspiring you, encouraging, pushing you forward. Because every day is not a good day. Some days you are going to wake up and be like, this is some bull. This isn't what I want to do. But if you have the right person in your corner, it's like, I'm gonna give you this day to yourself to let you grieve or whatever you want to call this. But tomorrow, you're going to get back on your shit.
Get it together. Tighten up.
And that's just it. Like this long-term pity party, whatever you're going through, this is not an option. Get over it. And we're going to try again tomorrow. And so you need the people around you to constantly lift you up, pat you on your back. And, it makes it easier. It makes it fun, too.
It does. What I have learned being an entrepreneur is
Entrepreneur.
It has taught me discipline.
Okay.
And
very important, by the way.
And how to manage my finances and take them seriously.
Nice.
Because when you got a job, and we was talking about this earlier, when you got a job and you want to go hang out and do all of this, but you got bills to pay, but you got a check coming next week. We all tend to use that check to go do what we want to do.
Spend
and then
before we get it,
pay
ourselves back.
Exactly. And then, be like, oh, I'm going to just pay that bill when I get paid next week. I used to do it a lot. Me too. But like just being an entrepreneur, you don't know when your next payday coming. So it forces you discipline and it teaches you to hustle hard. Yes. And I always say New Orleans made me, but Houston raised me.
Come on.
Made me a whole woman out here, y'all. Okay, so I love it. I love it though. I'm so grateful.
Well, listen. Again, I'm proud of you. Your story is perfect, in my opinion, for
Thank you.
anybody that is considering a career in real estate or industry change in general and you're scared. Just know you do your part. God will make sure that all the other pieces come together for you the way that they need to come. And thank y'all for tuning in today. We have been kicking it with Miss Lanaya Will.
All right, y'all.
Hey.
Hey.
And until next time, I'm your host, Matasha LaQuinn, the queen bee of real estate. And we'll catch you next time on The Throne.